So what's up, bro? You've been deported, or where you from?
I am originally born in Oaxaca, but I was raised in San Bernardino, California.
Okay, so we grew up in San Bernardino.
I grew up in San Bernardino, yes.
Did you used to gangbang as a kid, or?
I joined the gang when I was about 12 years old. I'm from West Side Verdugo. I'm from Calle 7, from 7th Street. CSL, Calle 7 Locos.
Okay, so growing up, did you used to get in a lot of trouble? What was going on?
So growing up, I'm going to tell you a story. O sea que llegamos as migrants to San Bernardino. Estábamos bien paisitas, carnal. The majority were all blacks. All our neighbors, all within that area. And I remember going to school, they used to pick on us. Te robaban, te asaltaban. Entonces, I used to have a few cousins down the block. Y nos íbamos juntos. And we used to be scared of the black guys because they were violent and they were loud and they were intimidating. So, nos íbamos juntos. And, I had younger brothers that I used to have to look out for. And it was quite intimidating. It was quite scary. We didn't speak the language. And you know what? They used to pick on our clothes because we didn't have no name brand clothes. Me acuerdo que me compraban unos pantalones que tenían la herradura on the tag que compraban en el swap meet. And so, you know what? Empezamos a juntarnos con los otros vecinos across the street from another block. And we joined the gang. And it was because we needed it. We needed to be strong. So cuando había pleitos ahí en la escuela, pues we used to jump them, nos juntábamos and we used to walk. I used to live off of 16th and Sepulveda, and you know what? Estaba really gang infested. So once I joined the gang, me sentía powerful. Like fuck yeah, ahora sí putos. Now they, I felt secure. I felt protected once I joined the gang. Yes.
Okay, so I'm from Oaxaca. Did you feel? Did you get a lot of discrimination from your own people from Mexico? Because I felt that heavily. A lot of people, Mexicanos. I would get discriminated from everybody porque soy indio, yeah. So I would get heavily discriminated. Did that ever happen to you? From your own people?
Yeah,
from your own people.
Simón, carnal, you know what? That's an issue that's not talked about very frequently. And when I used to go to the public schools, me acuerdo que había los Mexicans que ya hablaban inglés.
Yeah.
Y nosotros los paisitas. And you know what? Hay tanta discriminación más de tu misma gente because they don't accept you, dog. Y no, estás bien indio, pinche Oaxaco, te decían, y pues el término correcto es oaxaqueño, and they don't accept you, and a lot of times that's what creates a lot of the gang wars, because a lot of the guys that were banging first, the West Side Verdugo, or Verdugo in general, they were all Chicanos, and they didn't accept us porque estábamos con paisitas. So we kind of formed our own little group, and still, siempre había una diferencia, like during lunch, for example, ellos compraban sus lunches y nosotros pues el lunche que te daba el gobierno, and we used to sit in totally separate areas, nos juntábamos con todos los que teníamos ESL. I don't know if you remember the ESL program.
Oh, I went through ESL.
And éramos puros paisitas, and later on we began to speak English, and join our regular English classes, but I think the most discrimination was from our own raza.
Okay, yeah, I'm from Arizona, and there was like heavy discrimination towards Mexicanos from the Chicanos. But so tell me, why did you go to prison? Why did you get deported?
So I started growing up. I seen a lot of homeboys doing good. Tenían un lowrider club ahí. Y yo me fascinaba, and I used to see these fools used to sacaban pacas de dólares, and so I wanted to do what they were doing. So anyway, en mi casa, my parents were never home. They were always working, so se me salía a las calles. Entonces me iba to the local crack house y empecé a vender crack. And I was good at it, or me mandaban, hey, take this here, take this there, and I was good at it. And as I started growing up, me empezaron a dar jale, and then me metieron a trabajar a una bodega de frutas y verduras, y ahí downtown LA, estuve de LA, y ahí empezaron a llegar cantidades grandes de perico, and I became good at it. I didn't get high, I didn't even smoke no weed, I was doing good in school, y saqué mi licencia when I was 16, so me empezaron a usar, and I started making money, and then I started getting flossy with it. I started buying guns, and then after that we had power, we had a few lowriders, and then I got arrested. It was a ring of us. It was 5 of us that got arrested with like 100 keys of cocaine.
That's pretty big. 100 keys. That's a lot of money.
A lot of money.
So you probably seen a lot of your homies get
Yeah, you know what?
a lot of prison time and a lot of people getting killed.
Yeah, you know what? Empezamos. There was a lot of wars. I think the majority of the wars were within us, porque había gangs de Los Angeles that we didn't get along with, and the black gangs. Homies started getting killed. We started going to war with our own neighbors because some of these guys started joining other gangs as we got older. Homies started going to prison. Homies empezaron a aprender con el cristal. Because I was part of that methamphetamine blow up. Because we used to have labs in Fontana and Needles and all that. Desert.
I was raised in Phoenix and I seen a lot of bad things over there. I'm sure you've seen probably a lot of bad things about that crystal meth. What's some of the worst things you've seen about crystal meth?
Crystal meth, man, you know what? I've seen people lose their mind, así como sexualmente, que se vuelven homosexuales, or they start having sex with other men, que se empiezan a hacer cosas a ellos mismos, empiezan a, start having scabs, start hearing voices, and con tiempo, and they end up on the streets con schizophrenia.
So I didn't see this, but in Phoenix, I remember there was on the news, there was a mom that put her baby in a microwave and cooked her. So that was like one of the craziest things that I heard that happened via crystal meth. What was the very craziest thing that you seen?
Well, tenía un homie que le decían Cricket. The homie Cricket, su mamá, todos ellos fumaban cristal. Sometimes we used to go to the pad and kick and smoke. Entonces un día, I don't know what he was going through or what he was hearing, but he thought there were demons. Y ese día le quiso pegar a la señora. So we left, And then about an hour later, empezamos a ir que se estaba quemando la casa y el Cricket estaba afuera. Y llegamos corriendo y el Cricket estaba afuera. He was trying to save him now, but he burned his mom, his tía, and a baby off the crystal meth.
Damn. The baby, the mom.
Pretty sad.
It's pretty rough. So, what's one thing that you learned about here in Mexico? Do you like it here in Mexico? Because I know a lot of people want to go back to the States. I don't, but I know a lot of people do want to go back to the United States. And what's one of the positive things about here in Mexico and some of the negatives?
Well, you know what I love Mexico? Aquí está más difícil porque la economía no está balanceada. Lo que ganas no te alcanza para comer, para pagar renta, para vivir adecuadamente. Entonces te hace esforzarte más, tener un trabajo estable y hacer algo más, Me ha enseñado a mí a trabajar. I personally, I can't go back to the States. I'm deported for life, but I love Mexico, especially being here where we are because there's a lot of tourists. And I love Mexico, pero pienso que lo que he aprendido los últimos años ha sido de grande a estar orgulloso de nuestra historia, de qué tan guerreros hemos sido, luchadores, and how we've been oppressed for over 500 years, man. And that what's most important is for us to be united as a raza, que no haga diferencia del chicano y el mexicano, porque siempre hay cosas que los medios manejan, como eso de Yaritza, because she said she didn't know. A mí tampoco me gustan pinches refresco en bolsa, güey. And you know what? I think we all have kids o sobrinos que vienen de allá y pues no se adaptan tan rápido, Pero en lugar de sentirnos, pienso que debemos de enseñarnos, abrir las manos. Mira, ven para acá, mira, prueba esto y enseñar nuestra cultura, porque tenemos una cultura bien chingona, rica en cultura, en paisajes, en tierra, en comida. Entonces, sometimes nos sentimos and we let our egos get in the way y no nos apoyamos, no nos enseñamos.
I understand that big time because I was just talking to some people about just that. The people that was talking about that they don't like the Mexican food. They're kind of like Americanized or whatever. It happens. One thing is that when I lived in the United States, you get a lot of bullying from Americans, Canadians, everybody in the United States, right? Because you're Mexican. And so also you don't want to be listening to Spanish music because you're hella Mexican and they want to call you, certain words, the W, and that's one thing that goes into people's mind that, okay, you're you're a paisa, you're from Mexico, and this and that, and that's why like the kids, they don't want to try the Mexican food. They don't want to, they don't want to do all that. But I can understand both sides of the,
You know what? Like you said, that term paisa, sometimes even like in prison we use it in a derogatory form, because como a nuestra propia raza los queremos como llamar como indios, como que están más tontos.
Yeah.
And we all come from that. All our parents, muchos venimos del rancho. Y sabes, en el rancho no cargamos Jordan, no cargamos, pero la ética moral, el honor, se te enseña a no robar, a cuidar a tu prójimo, güey. Yo soy político de Oaxaca también, ahí pasas, la gente se quita el sombrero, buenos días, bien amable, puertas abiertas. Y eso es lo que tenemos, pienso que ponerle énfasis en nuestra cultura, en nuestra ética moral, porque el mexicano es amable de corazón.
Well, I seen that a lot too, where, like I said, I did time in Arizona, and people, they call themselves raza, los Chicanos, people from the United States. Okay, so they would come up to me when I would come to a new yard, and they'd be like, "Hey, are you raza?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm raza," and they'll be like, "Oh, you run with the Chicanos, right?" And this and that. I'm like, "No, soy raza, soy mexicano, soy paisa." And they didn't really like that, because they would say that they're raza, they're called Chicanos, and paisas were paisas. And I'm like, it doesn't get more raza than that. I'm from Oaxaca, but soy raza. But it was kind of fucked up to see certain yards where they would back up. One time we were about to get into a riot with the white boys, and los Mexicanos, los Chicanos, they were backing up the white boys, and they said they were gonna get in, and they were backing them up, and then the black people backed us up. They're like, "Hey, if the Chicanos and you guys get into it with the whites and the Chicanos, we're gonna back you up." And that helped us out a lot, because at the end of the day, we didn't get into the riot, and it was pretty crazy, and like we were very close. But it's kind of crazy, like they call themselves raza, but they're gonna ride with the white boys to beat up the Mexicans, los paisanos.
And you know what? It's really sad, though. Que we miramos o miran al paisano como menos, cuando a lot of them tienen tatuajes de villa, de zapata, de indios aztecas, y al que en verdad tiene la sangre más pura, lo hacen menos, y a veces hasta se burlan en los TikToks, ahorita con eso de Yaritza, carnal, cuando debemos estar aprender de dónde venimos, why we're dark skinned, and be together, and a lot of these rappers now too, they use the N-word. Sometimes I've caught myself using it. I see, mingling with folks that come from the States, but tenemos que estudiar, saber que venimos nosotros de opresión, de cultura. Y fíjate, en las prisiones hay mucho pleito con los morenos, siendo que nosotros también somos afromestizos, los que es de Oaxaca, Veracruz, por no sé si el tiempo de los esclavos, pero tenemos more
Guerrero.
We have more in common with them. We're from the same hoods than the whites. The whites are always like los que están mejor, the ones that own these businesses, and we're so quick to back them up. Y we separate, y siempre hay división entre la raza que no debe de haber, y pienso que es por falta de conocimiento,
Okay, so if there's one thing that you would like to say, something like to the youth out there, because I know we don't really listen. When we were a little kid, if anybody told you anything, you didn't really want to listen. You're like, you're fucking lame or whatever. You would say this and that about certain people or whatever, trying to school you, be like, "Hey, don't gangbang, don't do this, that." But what's one thing that you would like to say to the youth? Maybe something that you would like to hear somebody say when you were young,
So, you know what? Throughout gangs, everybody still has that idea of wanting to be gangster. Well, here's what's gangster. To me, what's really gangster is family men, family people. Mira, los vatos que empezaron la Costa Nostra, un vato dijo, una persona que no pasa suficiente tiempo con su familia no es digno de la cosa nostra. You know, y de ahí la M agarró sus values from loyalty. And if you're not loyal to your loved ones, to your mom, to your dad, if you don't love them and take care of them, then you can't be trusted because you're capable of doing anything to anybody. So you know what? Take care of those that love you. Be grateful for that person que te llama la atención. Because I was very rebellious and I ended up doing a whole lot of time in prison, out here in the streets, and I'm barely learning these things, you know. Se me inculcaban and I would follow other people's needs, and I used to leave my mom behind and forget about her, and I've caused her so much pain. And at the end, she's the one that's still there, and my loved ones, my dad, my brothers, and the homies, you know, like, I got love and respect for everybody, but I think everybody, once we grow up, it's about family now, you know? And look at each other as family. And
that's 100% true, because even people that I would thought were my best friend when I was locked down, they didn't even write me a letter. I mean, I didn't mind them sending me money, but I didn't ask them for money. I didn't even, you know, I mean, I wasn't even getting letters, you know what I'm saying? It's like your homies that you looked out for, you're giving them money, you know, you're giving them, you know, trying to look out and everything like that, and like, damn, they don't even write you a letter. I mean, I understand if you don't send me no money, but the letter goes further, I think.
Yeah, it's emotional.
Than the money. And like, damn, I'm locked up for 7 years and you don't even write me a letter. Like, damn, bro, like,
I thought we was boys. You said you was
like,
gonna ride and die with me.
Yeah, I mean, like, I done a lot for the homies and stuff like that. So yeah. Hola, mis amigos, ¿cómo le podemos ayudar?